The Sipsey Wilderness, starting from the Borden Trailhead. Off I go. Hello friends, family, total strangers. Today's video, I am backpacking in the Sipsey Wilderness in Alabama. This is my Shakedown hike for the AT. I will be hiking the Appalachian Trail this year, starting in April. And yeah, this is kind of my test hike. Make sure all my gear, I got everything I need and it all works the way I want it to, and my pack feels okay, and yada yada yada. We just had a huge rainstorm here 2 days ago, so the creeks are all pretty swollen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hike this trail the way that I want to. I might not be able to cross the creek, but if that's the case, I'll just backtrack. My goal isn't to do some special loop. My goal is to be out here for 4 days and test my gear. So yeah, this is it is awesome here. This is such a beautiful place. There's so many waterfalls, especially in the section that I was day hiking in. Yeah, lots of cliffs, lots of big boulders. Pretty neat. I don't think I've ever seen a place with this high a concentration of waterfalls. It is, yeah, I love it back here. I love it. There's a feature called Fat Man's Squeeze, where you hike through a little rock. I think this is it. Yep, definitely have to take the backpack off for this one. Well, Fat Man's Squeeze was well named. I do have a few extra pounds on me. Definitely had to squeeze through that. But I've been to some pretty spots in Alabama, but I can't believe this is Alabama. I can't believe that this isn't like a national park, or at least a national monument, or even a state park. I'm glad it isn't. I love that it's wilderness area because it really helps protect it without necessarily driving large crowds here. So yeah, I'm blown away by this place. Yeah, you can see the creek is pretty blown out from the storm. Two waterfalls for the price of one. Sweet. Well, here's my stream crossing. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. So backtrack and we will go a different trail. But this was definitely worth the trip anyway. I don't mind the one-way hike because this was beautiful and lots of cool waterfalls and nice walk along the river. So lots of cool campsites too. It's definitely too early for me to quit, so back I go. this would be an amazing campsite if it wasn't quite so drippy, maybe a little later in the season. I'm back at the double waterfall area. It seems like a good spot to have a little lunch. My tortillas tragically were moldy. I planned on using those for my lunches, so I guess I'm gonna cold soak some stovetop and eat it with some cheese and pepperoni. I just realized I have some chili cheese burritos, so I'll just pair those with my cheese and salami and call it good. That way I don't have to wait for the cold soaking. Back through the squeeze. Okay, so I've hiked about 6 miles today. However, I am just about a mile from the car. Yeah, we're gonna head this way. I believe this is trail 224. And yeah, we're gonna use that to connect to trail 204, I believe. And good times. I think this route is mostly for transiting the middle. It used to be a road, so I don't think it's super scenic, but it'll get me over to the other side, which is very scenic. So gonna have a few miles just old road walking pretty much. Here we go. A little cold instant coffee to start the day. This is the largest tree in Alabama. It is a yellow poplar. And yeah, it's pretty big. That's the waterfall we were at the top of yesterday at the end of the day. And there's another one. There's our tree from a little bit of a distance. There's my little camp. So I just set up a quick camp last night. I hiked 11.5 miles all said and done. So I was pretty exhausted. I got to this campsite almost near dark, so I just found the first one that was close enough to a water source because I was almost out of water. And yeah, it worked out all right. I was a little worried being this close to the creek that I'd get a lot of condensation, but it wasn't bad at all. So yeah, gonna pack up. And yeah, apparently I hiked past all that yesterday, the big tree, but I just needed to get to camp, so it was about a half-mile back up trail, so I went up there, checked it out. It was really neat. Definitely worth the short diversion. Yeah, and then we're hit the trail again. It's beautiful back here. There are lots of down trees you have to try to negotiate around. We are to the Sipsey River. Luckily, we do not have to cross this. We are going another way. We are crossing that little creek. But wow, this is gorgeous. There's an awesome campsite right here too. So this is the little creek I had to cross, and those are my skid marks where I slid and almost fell into the water. So I ended up crossing back upstream just a little bit, which was also sketchy, just because of the mud. And there's the Sipsey. Just looking back through. I don't think I'd want to go that way. I believe this is Shiprock right here. This is that harder route for Eye of the Needle, which doesn't look that bad from down here. It definitely looks more doable than looking down from the other side. This campsite will do just fine. So this is my Shakedown hike, so I'm trying to figure out what to take with me on the AT and what not. First thing is this. I use it as essentially the support for my backpack, but then it's also a sit pad that I can sit on, and I can also use it as an underpad for my sleeping pad. This is not going to do it. I normally use a bigger one, a full-size one that I put under my sleeping pad to help prevent it from popping. And I thought I could get away with this instead. But what I realized is for break time, I hate this. Because in my other one, I can lay it down, I can lay out on it. And yeah, it weighs another couple ounces, but I'll take the weight hit to have that full-size little underpad. It's just so versatile. And this isn't, because of how much smaller it is. So yeah, this is going to change out. My Polycrow, which I don't think I can quite, which is just essentially a piece of plastic that goes under my tent. It's already ripped, and it's not going to last very long without ripping in half, and that's my vapor barrier. So I'll probably either buy a new Polycrow or I will use my Tyvek ground sheet. I haven't decided yet. The net tent. I haven't used this net tent that much. I didn't use it on the PCT or on my AT section hike. I did use it on my PCT section in Washington, but it's not really working out like I want it to. It's got these terrible corners. If you look, it's just on with like elastic little things. So what happens is when I toss and turn in the night and this thing moves around, unless the ground surface is perfectly flat, it slides out under the tent. Therefore, if it's raining, I'm going to get wet. And it's going to be raining. It's the AT. So I'm thinking of switching to my bivy sack. Still not 100% sure on that. We'll see. But otherwise, the Gatewood Cape I think is going to work. I'm going to use my big sleeping pad. Yeah, and I have also realized that I need to buy new socks. Mine have some holes in them, and it's actually been causing me some blisters on this hike, so good things to know. I also learned I carry some medical tape on these trekking poles, and the amount that I carry is definitely not enough because I've never used it in all this time that I've had the trekking poles. But I used it this time and I pretty much used it all for one sitting. So I need to carry some Leuco tape, maybe even a whole roll with me instead of just putting a little bit on my trekking poles. So that's good information to know. But yeah, I think it's, yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from this little trip, helping me dial in what I'm going to take, and I'm going to pack up and hit the trail again. This is Fall Creek Falls. Beautiful. So right there is where I turned around 2 days ago because I couldn't cross this creek. What I didn't realize is that there is a social trail on this side, and that's going to take me back to the bridge, and I can use that to get back to my car. So there we go. That's a figure 8 I'm doing here. Well, I've been out here for 2 nights, 3 days, and I decided I'm going to hike back to the van. I would love a cold beer and hot coffee in the morning, and maybe a hot dinner. And I'm not going to get too many of those starting here soon when I start the trail. So I'm going to take advantage of those things while I got them. I don't really need, I think I more or less know what I need to tweak for my kit now. So yeah, we'll just head back to the van. I think this is my last waterfall of the hike. I swear I've seen at least 25 or 30 waterfalls. I haven't even filmed them all because they're just everywhere. Since I've been here in the Sipsey, this is truly a unique place. Pretty awesome. I lied, but this one's on the other side of the river, so. Oh, I just realized I think this is Fat Man Squeeze from the other side, so you come out over there. I was wrong. The waterfalls continue, and there was a bunch more that I didn't even film, so many waterfalls. Yay, bridge. Back at the van. Whew.